Hello and welcome to Knit with Hannah. We are casting on again today, and this is the cable cast on method. This is the very first casting on method that I learnt. I've been using it all of my life for pretty much every project I've ever done, and I've only learnt more recently, such as in the last 10 years, to do some more interesting and intricate different ways of casting on. So this has been my staple for most of my life while I've been knitting. So I enjoy this cable cast on. It's very sturdy. You can rely on it to hold itself in place. It's got a good loop of yarn as you create the cast on, so it's got a stable base to it. So it's great for jumpers, sweaters, all sorts of things that you want to last a lifetime. And it keeps its shape. It doesn't lose its shape at all. So do let me know in the comments below where you would use the cable cast on. How have you learnt it in the past? Have you used it in the past? Is it new to you? Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy the video. Hi everyone, we're going to cast on again today with the cable cast on method. So today we need both needles and of course the yarn. So to begin with, we're going to make the slip stitch again, and we just need one needle for that. So we hold the short end of yarn in the right hand and the long end going to the ball in the left hand, and we use those first two fingers. So around those fingers near the tips, around near the knuckles, and then the needle goes underneath the first loop, over the second loop, and pull that second loop through. There we go, there's our slip stitch to start with. Now, because we are knitting again, I'm going to have this yarn on my right hand side. That's where the yarn's coming from. So as if I'm knitting, I have the yarn underneath and around my little finger, underneath the next two fingers, and over this forefinger. And I hold the needle here between my thumb and my first knuckle. And then to start with, it's exactly the same as the knitted cast on. The needle goes through that first stitch from the front into that first loop. The yarn goes around and we pull that through. That is the first stitch created, and there we are. We now have two stitches on the needle. What I'm going to do now is just tighten up that slip stitch, our first stitch on the needle there. Just pull that loose yarn. Okay, we have two stitches. Now, what we're going to do for the third stitch is put the needle, instead of through that first stitch, we're going to put it in between those stitches. The yarn goes around and we can pull that yarn through and then slip that third stitch onto the needle. And every stitch is made in the same way. We put the needle behind the first stitch that's on the left hand needle. Wind the yarn around and put it through. And you may get that, exactly what happened to me there, is that you drop the yarn as it's falling through. There we go. Gone through in between those last two stitches, and there it comes. Put that stitch onto the left hand needle, and I'm just putting that needle through in between those previous two stitches, pull that one through, and it goes onto the left hand needle. As I drop that on there, I'm just swiftly pushing that right hand needle into the stitch to create, behind that stitch, to create the next one. There we go. See, I missed that one as well. not unusual. And you can count as you go, or you can just estimate as you go how many stitches you have on the needle if you have a particular number you need for a specific pattern. And then, as always, I would suggest, if you have a large number especially of stitches on the needle, that you count the number of stitches you've created twice. Then you can double check if those two numbers don't tally. You can triple check. There we go. So that is cable cast on. And we have a good few stitches there, and that slip stitch at the back has just loosened up again. I'm going to pull that loose yarn so it's a little bit tighter. And we're ready with all the stitches on the left hand needle to create the first row after the cast on. Thank you for joining me for this casting on video. You can find more of these videos along with other knitting Q&A videos and knitting e-courses on my website knitwithhannah.co.uk. You can also find more videos on my YouTube channel Knit with Hannah. Please share any questions or requests for videos in the comments below. You can find me on Instagram. Please share your latest knitting videos and projects, pictures with me at Knit with Hannah, hashtag Knit with Hannah. I'd love to see what you're up to in the world of knitting. I hope you'll join me again soon. Bye!